What's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's edition of the Marshall Street Podcast. This week, we talked about the difference between building an online following as opposed to playing live music as well. We got into some really in-depth discussions about what you can learn from playing live, as well as what you can learn from building an online following. If you enjoy, leave us a comment below. Also, be sure to hit subscribe and click the bell for notifications. Enjoy. Welcome to the Marshall Street Podcast.
Welcome. We're back.
We are back. And today we're going to talk about
Live shows, playing live versus building an online following. I think it can kind of polarize some young artists. They do either. They do them well, but they don't kind of focus their attention on both at the same time. Or some of them do. I guess this is the discussion we're going to have. So there's a difference between playing a whole heap of shows, a whole heap of live shows, which as many up-and-coming artists will know. Sometimes you end up playing to an empty room on Wednesday nights and Thursday nights. They're really good to build up your skills. However, they don't do a great deal to actually build your audience. And the opposite is there's artists who spend all their time in their room building online audiences, and they're doing that really well. They are engaging and connecting with fans, but without playing live, they're missing out on that skill set that is, inevitably, that's really at the heart of being an artist.
Yeah.
Playing live.
unless you're wanting to be a bedroom performer, which these days you totally can, but it's not really the traditional way of being an artist and being a musician. And if you want to if you idolize all of the pop stars or even hip hop artists or anything like that, one day you're going to be playing live.
Yep.
And I mean, you don't have the live set to back it up.
Correct. Like yeah. Because I guess, sure, I mean, I only speak for myself here, but watching live shows and concerts and fucking rock bands and artists play live is what got me into music.
Yeah.
It's that
Probably
live
the same
music.
for most people, I'd say.
I think so.
I reckon.
But I think there's, just because of the lack of numbers that especially midweek gigs pull, the focus has kind of drifted away from that in many artists starting out.
Yeah, I reckon it's hard. It's hard for people that want to play, because when you're first starting, you have to start somewhere. And if you don't know anyone and all that sort of stuff, then you inevitably have to play the midweek gigs that are sometimes not a lot of fun. I mean, this is kind of what we want to talk about. But
yeah, because I guess I'm going to pause you there.
Yeah.
When you say they're not a lot of fun, I think I disagree with that, because I guess they should be fun.
Yeah, they should
I think
be.
if they're not fun, then you're looking at it for the wrong reason. You want something out of it that's not there. You want that instant satisfaction of, I'm playing to a huge crowd straight away. When you don't get that, the fun part should be playing music to, whether it's fucking one person or just getting out and playing, putting something creative into the world, I think is what it should be about.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you reckon on this, Davey?
Oh, I'm in two minds about this, because one, I like going to live shows, but I've been super disappointed in the turnout or the venues that I've been to in the last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And two, I do like the online journey of seeing how songs are get made, or like that connection you get over a few weeks of watching someone. But it's different when you see them live, because there's like an energy, like the good example I've got just from the last couple of weeks was Baker's Eddie's show at the
Stay Gold in Brunswick.
Stay Gold. There was two bands on before them, and they were decent. They were like good bands.
They were decent.
One of them had a really, really good drummer that was like, I don't know, really know that much about musical ability. I just know about energy, and I can see that person's killing it. And then Baker's Eddie come on, and it's a whole different league.
It's completely destroyed the fucking place.
And then you see, it's like, oh shit, that's because it's like when you go see a giant concert, when you're there just to see that one person, like Muse or fucking something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, you know exactly what you're getting. You're getting Muse is gonna be amazing. You don't get a comparison. But when I saw Baker's Eddie, it was like this comparison between these opening bands and then them, and you're like, that's like it's night and day.
Yep.
No, 100%. And even Baker's Eddie, they're one of the things that drew, a lot of their fans, and the first time I saw them was recommended by you, was their live show.
Yeah.
And and these guys have played so many shows together. Like, they have played
Yeah,
so
hundreds.
many, hundreds upon hundreds, and like all over the place, multiple shows in a day. They're no stranger to getting in a fucking car, driving around a country, Australia, they've toured Europe, and just playing a buttload of shows just to hone their skills live.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're good.
And you can tell, like,
Yeah.
as soon as you see them live, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is what live music is about.
And then the second part of that is I'm disappointed in venues. The Stay Gold was pretty good. They had a pretty good turnout, but Baker's Eddy have been cultivating a following for a while. Like, I don't know. It feels like venues have gotten so lazy with their shit.
It's hard. You have to look at it from the perspective of the venue owners, where it's, I don't know if hard's the right word, but to be the person that is in charge of like every little thing about putting on a show every single day of the week, if your venue does that,
Yeah.
you know, I guess if that's your job, you should be good at it. But, you know, I feel like there are a lot of venues, and there always has been, it's never changed in my eyes, that they're venues that just have bands there. And it's like, that's their thing. They just have bands there. And, you know, people that come, the bands play and the sound guy does the sound, and that's it. The venue's kind of just the venue. It's not really anything else.
Yeah, I know, like, the building's the building. You can't really fuck with that. And I get that there's a lot going on. But, like, I reckon one night a week is better than every night of the week. If that one night you have, like, a 5-band
100%.
lineup and it's
Yeah.
sick.
But what about them paying their bills?
What do
But see,
If they're
yeah,
a
but you can be
venue?
a bar in between the week.
yeah. And I mean, I guess I'm sure venue owners would go, well, people just aren't coming out to fucking gigs during the week as
Yeah.
much as they would, or as much as they used to, which I guess is fine. So then it's kind of like, do you let the fucking, like, the live venue, I guess, kind of drop because people aren't going? Or do you try to improve it to
Yeah,
attract
exactly.
people?
100%.
Like, which one is the,
Yeah.
which one are they going off?
Well, that's the scene. Well, not the scene. There's just the music industry in general has changed so dramatically. I mean, Melbourne's still amazing for live music. There's bands playing all the fucking time, but it still has changed the vibe around going to see live music.
Yeah.
Like even when I was like 18, 19, 20, it was still like
How long?
you still
That was a while ago, was it?
What was
yeah
the 1970s like?
you still were like, it was still a thing to go to a gig, but it could have been because I was young. It's so hard to know.
Yeah.
Was it the same? I don't know. If I was, 32 then, would
Yeah,
I have
would
felt
it
the
have
exact
seemed-
same way, or would I have been like, nah, it's different now?
And I
It's
think-
impossible to tell.
Yeah,
but
and I think some venues also get a name for themselves. Like, I don't think they're still around anymore, but I've just got Barleycorn. Like, they were just known for giving anybody a gig. Like, even if you didn't even know how to fucking plug in an amp, they'd give
Yeah.
you a show. And they got
There's
known
no-
for that.
there's no threshold
There
of,
was
like,
no
yeah.
quality control. Like, and that
Yeah.
was everyone's first gig almost,
Yeah.
was at the Barleycorn. And for that reason, like, I'd kind of know if I was going to a gig there, one, I wasn't going there for the music. I was either going there to meet up with the people playing, or to fucking,
Yeah.
to drink or whatever. It wasn't for the music. But then there's other venues where it's like, something like the Corner. If you go in there, you're like, okay, cool, I'm in for a show.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
venues do have a kind of some play in it in terms of cultivating the bands that they let play. And then I guess it's kind of, that the, at what line do they just go, okay, we need bands to fucking pay our bills?
Yeah, exactly.
Or do they go, okay, we want to maintain some quality control around this venue. We want to be known
feel
for
like
good acts.
the most recent one that tried that was Howler. They were the most recent one that tried to be like, okay, we're gonna have a standard. We've got a really good band room.
The band room is sick.
Yeah, we're not gonna just put any shit kicker band on bills, and it's expensive to hire, and they've got good quality gear and all that sort of stuff. But they didn't they? It fell apart. Are they still going, or someone
I
bought them
think
out or
they
something?
had trouble with noise complaints, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
God,
So they were
fucking noise
succeeding with
complaints.
their actual
I think
live
they were
music
going.
stuff?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were.
Yeah.
It was, I think, noise complaints had got them into some trouble.
But Stay Gold's a newer bar.
Yeah,
They've only been around for 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
That band room's pretty good.
Yeah,
Really
it's a good
good.
band room.
Yep.
The Croxton redid its
yeah. which
interior.
brings you to another point. So much about the venue is the actual booker that's attached to the venue.
It is, yeah.
So the Croxton got a mad fucking booker. I mean, it helps that they have pokies there, so they have a significant revenue stream
Cash
coming
inflow,
in,
yeah.
which allowed them to put a whole heap of cash into that band room, do it up so it's super good. They were able to get a band booker who's fucking legit, and then now they book awesome fucking shows there.
Yeah, they have
And,
internationals and
like
everything.
really big shows.
Yeah.
They
So
kill-
that's the sort of stuff that I'm talking about. It's like, even if it was once a month and you knew that there was like something that went on once a month at this one place, like, and you knew it was going to be decent and you knew you were going to see bands you hadn't seen before, you could make a night of it. You could like plan your
Well, that's what
entertainment around
nightclubs
it.
are essentially, though. There's still alternative nightclubs. Stay
The
Gold.
ones I go to.
Stay Gold.
They're just called strippers.
Stay Gold does AM/PM. AM/PM.
Is that a Stay Gold?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. That's the newest like punk,
Bang.
hardcore,
Yeah,
like
alternative.
alternative night, and they do that once a month or so.
Okay.
So they do exist. It's I don't know, but it depends on. That's a nightclub though, so it's like Stay Gold is a venue that they throw shows, but they also do the AM/PM nightclub. So it's kind of multifaceted, which is a good thing. You know, you're still hosting good bands,
Yeah.
local bands as well, but then you might be doing something that's a little bit more.
I think what we've touched on unintentionally is that venues, much like everyone else in either the music industry or any industry, venues need to adjust their business structure because you can't just be kind of linear one thing anymore. You can't just be a fucking venue. You've got to have multifaceted avenues of income stream, much
Yeah.
like the studios, much like a lot of what everyone else is, because I guess the internet really has put the squeeze on a lot of things. But even getting back to that, what in starting off, say an artist is in their first 12 months of being an artist, which one weighs more in your opinion? I mean, obviously there's no right or wrong.
It really depends on what you're going for. I think the playing live gives you so much. You learn so much from playing live about yourself, about crowds, about your stage presence, how well you sing. Like, there's so much to learn from playing gigs that I think that you cannot not play gigs. I think that's it's just such an important part of being a young band, a young musician, young solo artist. I think when you limit yourself, and you are limiting yourself, if you're just a recording artist, I don't know, there's something missing to me.
Yep.
So
Definitely.
I don't know that it's more important. I just think that it's a really important part of the process.
Yep. And touching that, the stuff you learn, like coming from the DYE shows, like there is so many things can go wrong in a live performance that you don't know until it's happened. And going through that learning curve is
Well, there
a
you
huge
go.
thing.
Tell a story. What's fresh in your mind? What is the worst thing that happened to DYE on the stage?
Fuck, how long you got?
I remember when I saw you guys at that, it was at the Vic Markets.
Yeah, at
And-
Melbourne Music Week with
Yeah,
All Day.
and the subs were too loud. They were knocking your needle off.
Well, that
your-
was we had already gone through 2 turntables that Cut Copy had used the night before at Melbourne
Yeah.
Music Week. That was with Goldsmith.
Yeah, was it? Yeah.
Yes, because that was when I saw him there again.
Yeah.
But they'd gone, so we had the turntables Cut Copy used the night before, worked fine for that gig. On our sound check, one of them just wasn't fucking rolling. Was getting no single from one. So they swap out, get another turntable, that gets going, and then the subs under the fucking stage were cranking so much that then all the fucking needles were bouncing. And then so it's like,
yeah.
unless you just keep loading up that needle with fucking weight, you need to turn the subs down
And that
or do
will
something.
inevitably damage the turntable as well.
Yeah.
Like,
So, and when you're playing vinyl, like with needles, there's so much that can go wrong. Sydney Meyer at Pushover Fest, the PA caught fire side of the stage, and Sydney Meyer lost power.
that would be so rare, though.
Yeah,
That would
but
be so-
again,
but
it
it
happens.
happened.
And
Yeah,
so
and
and
you can't
Matt,
predict that.
So Matt, everyone who knows fucking Zol, he can come up with shit on the spot. He's
Yeah.
good at,
Improvisation.
improvising. And so his ability to cover us in a lot of those situations just made it takes you to another level if the crowd, because the crowd can pick up when shit's not going to plan. Like, they're not fucking idiots.
If you look like a fucking
If you
I don't know
start
what's going
shitting yourself,
on.
they're like, oh wow, this
People
person's
feed
out
off
of their
it.
element. But if they see that something hasn't gone to plan, but they can watch you pick it back up and improvise and keep it going and keep going while someone in the back fucking adjusts something, it just shows another level of professionalism. And I don't think you do reach that ability unless you've gone through the things that go wrong and learned from them.
And it takes such a long time to hone your skills as a live performer. Like, I've been playing gigs since I was 16, 15, but I didn't start to focus on the live performance until I was about 20, I don't think, 20 or 21 or something like that. I think when I was in a band called Weathertaker, we were playing pub gigs and stuff, but I was still like 17 years old. And we focused on the performance of like what we needed to do and how we wanted to play. But it wasn't really like from a consumer's point of view. It was more just like what looks fucking awesome and what looks crazy, and which I guess is kind of something. But then I feel like when it came to like being in the spin set, like that was like a time where every time we played, we were like, okay, what did we do well? What went wrong? You know, I blew my voice out before our EP launched because I was singing along to the playbook, and because they were doing an Atari cover, and then I couldn't sing for that set, and I was like, that's pretty fucking stupid. But you know, I had a good time, and it didn't really matter. But
you guys
there's just
didn't-
things that you learn, and then from then I'm like, since that gig, I'm like, I'm not going to drink heaps and like go nuts for a band before my gig, and I wouldn't have learnt that if I didn't fuck my voice before a major show. So like, yeah, there's so much to learn.
Yep. And even
Yeah.
another point of that is actually learning it. Like, you can do shit wrong, and if you don't learn from it and actively try to improve on it, like, you're just going to do the same stupid shit over and over again.
Yeah, because you think it's funny. Yeah, so, but it depends on how serious you want to take it.
Yep.
So,
What do you reckon, Davey?
I reckon I've just been thinking about, so you talking about being 21-year-old and fucking your voice and learning like that whole live gig kind of etiquette, let's say. Like thinking about how you'd go about that today, you'd probably start online, I think would be
I think
is what I'd do.
I was still focusing a lot on Twitter, and we were uploading YouTube covers and all that sort of stuff. So we were focusing on online without knowing how. We were just kind of doing it, which was really good. I think it's better than not doing it. We didn't really know what to focus on, so we just kind of put all of our energy into things that we thought were good, which is a good thing. You know, it could pay off. I guess the availability of everything now is kind of what has changed it. I think that's like a big difference, but there's still so many unknowns. Like, people don't know what hashtagging is and why it's important. Something as simple as that. It's like, we know because we like work with it all the time, the point of hashtagging. But for someone that doesn't, they just think that you attach this word to a photo and that's it. And that's the purpose. It's like, hang on, you're missing the point of a hashtag. Just stuff like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
And even that's a thought. Sorry to cut you off there. Something just popped in my head then. I think, and it's kind of human nature, but I think a lot of people will polarize it and try to do one or the other, or one extreme or the other. Like, well, I can't do both. You can't play live and build an online following like hugely. When I think it's you kind of, especially at the start, you can, but you just don't have to put as much emphasis on every aspect of it. Like, when you're going about building your online following, some artists might have in their head, well, if I'm building I've got to get fucking 10,000 followers. It's got to be, when really all it has to do is you're just ticking it over, learning what it is, learning what hashtags are like. You're just kind of keeping it going, so that kind of like pushing a snowball down the hill. It's just going to get bigger and bigger, but it's just keeping it ticking over. And same with playing live. A lot of them, when they, in their head, if they haven't played live, they've got this big illusion of playing live and like, I'm going to be playing to thousands of people and there's going to be fucking singing. It's like, it's not, but like, you have to get through. You can play shows that, as you were saying,
I think, yeah, with the snowball thing, I think the other thing with that is, as you meet people and as you learn, you naturally get better at stuff and you naturally meet people that can help you. So it becomes less of a, I have to do everything myself, and more of a, how do I get to the point that I need to get to? So for example, you know, before you've even started, you wouldn't know any photographers unless you did some research. Whereas if you played a gig and then there was a photographer there, you meet that person and then you know that you can get them for the next gig. So that's like one thing. That's just one small thing that you didn't know before, but now you do know. And that will help you build your online presence because you'll have photos for your social media. And it's just little things like that, that if you're not playing gigs, meeting people and networking and meeting all the other bands, meeting sound guys, meeting venue owners, band bookers, all that sort of stuff, you're not doing it. So that's a lot of different pieces of the big puzzle that you aren't having. And I think that that's like, that's kind of the main thing is that you're missing out on so much.
Yep, definitely. And then I guess the other side is, most people will heavily focus on your socials. Like the first thing they'll ask if people say, "Oh, I play in a band," or "I'm an artist," they go, "Cool, what's your Instagram? What's your Facebook?" So I guess in that capacity as well, they're in a lot of people when they're starting off in their head, they're like, well, these online presence is so huge. So they put all the weight on that, understandably so, because one, the cost of entry is fucking zero.
Yeah.
They can be in their underpants in their room and start the Instagram page and actively work on that.
But if that's your thing, go for it.
They can start a Facebook without having to leave their room, and especially if with creatives, there is a lot of introverts and people who, getting out and socializing with complete randoms isn't, something that they might do all the time. So there is that kind of social barrier, as well as if people don't drive, how are they going to get to a venue? If they feel they don't have a band, they're just an individual artist, then they're not going to play shows. So I guess the actual cost of entry to playing live, you have to actually organize it with a booker. You have to actually get a fucking poster. You have to put in some stuff. And I think that's why kind of people gravitate, and I'm just talking about this because I've noticed it recently, that there is more and more artists who are building huge online followings from their bedroom, but that's it. And all the other aspects, they're kind of, it's like they're waiting for it to, they're like, well, I'm huge on Instagram, why aren't I a huge famous now?
So I agree, but I sort of disagree in the way that I reckon, like you're saying, it's less effort to do it from your bedroom. I reckon it's probably the same amount of effort. It's just that like the minimum viable product amount of effort is more for live because you've got to go meet with people. You've got to talk to bookers and blah, blah, blah. And with your bedroom, you can just turn on your laptop's webcam and off you go. But you can put that amount of effort into your online presence and succeed that way. That is a possibility. You can do that. But you're right in the way that when you say, oh, like someone who builds a huge Instagram following or a Facebook following and they're huge online, and then they go, well, why the hell aren't I doing all these live shows? It's like, well, you don't have a live show presence. Like, all of your followers might be from England.
The thing with that, though, I don't know that people are saying, why don't I have live gigs? I think they're just not doing it. I don't know.
I think there is a mindset of it'll come to them.
I should get booked.
Yes.
Someone should book me.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I know what you mean now.
Yeah, because I've heard a few people speak like, I'm just like waiting for people to call me. It's like, why would they call you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You gotta start somewhere. I think the one thing that I've learnt from working here is people like to jump to step 6 before they've done 1 to 5.
Yeah.
And you cannot miss out on all of those things to get to that stage because it's just not something that's possible. It might happen so rarely, but then you're still going to have to learn steps 1 through to 5, but you're doing it in the wrong order.
Yep.
And that's harder. So you might as well start at step 1 and then just take it step by step and really, grind it out for the first year or two.
Yeah.
And just learn as much as you can in those years because that's what those years are for. They're for learning.
Yep.
You need to have a measuring stick without having booked a gig, without having to promote something like a gig. You haven't got anything to measure it by, so there's no way to know how successful you are, and you just learn so gradually that you need to do it very regularly. Like we were saying the other day, we had Alex in for artist coaching last night, and we were saying she's playing her second gig this week, and we basically said it's good that you're starting to book your gigs, but don't always think of every single gig has to be the fanfare. You have to put out, take specific photos for every single gig that you play. You have to promote everyone as hard. You have to put money towards promotion of every gig. You're better off playing one gig every 2 or 3 weeks, and promoting every fourth gig, say,
Yep.
and making that a really big one that you want everyone to come to. That way you can play those middle of the week gigs and you're learning different things.
Yep.
Because you're just going to burn yourself out if you're making every single gig that you're playing the one that people have to come to. People won't come. And then you'll go, oh fuck, people aren't coming to my gigs. It's like, yeah, because you're looking at things in the wrong
way. Definitely, I think that's a great point. Like there doesn't have to be this extreme one or the other. It doesn't. You can be both. Like, you know, I think it's part of accepting that being an artist, there is all these elements and skills you're going to have to pick up. A huge one of it is playing live. So you go, cool, I'm going to play live every 2 weeks for the next 6 months. For 6 months, I'm going to play fucking 12 shows. I'm going to play every 2 weeks. And in that, I'm only going to promote, as in heavily promote. Obviously, you want to promote everything. You can start a Facebook page and push it.
Yep.
But in terms of paid promotion, if you want to do sponsored ads, if you want to get some posters printed out, or if you want to get a photographer to it, you might go, okay, I'm going to play a gig every 2 weeks and I'm going to heavily promote 1 in 4. Now, all of a sudden, you're playing a lot of shows at different venues, so you're going to be learning all those skills. You're going to be meeting all these different band bookers. You're going to be meeting all these different managers, TMs, whoever you're playing with, let alone 3 different artists on that bill. You're going to be pushing 1 in 4, so there's going to be constantly advertising of your shows coming out, so people aren't ever going to think that you're not active, as well as learning everything in the background.
The other thing that you can do, and there's kind of 2 arguments here, is when you're ready, which you should consider it early, is touring. And I think when you're touring, because you don't have the expectation that you need to pull people to a gig, you know, you're not expected as an interstate artist to bring 50 people unless you have that sort of a following, which is rare at the start. But the touring side of things is super important. But it's the same sort of thing. You're playing gigs in quick succession in a place where you're not expected to pull people. So you promote it online, try and get as many people to come down, but you use that as the experience of playing live as well. You might do that, you know, 3 months down the line. You wouldn't necessarily start off by touring because it's just so much to
plan,
to do in the first, you know, when you're first starting your band. So you probably would, if you're first starting, I guess, think about it 6 months down the track, but start planning it now that you're going to do a tour with a single release or an EP release or something like that. But those quick succession gigs, they also teach you something as well.
Definitely.
So there's the playing in your home state in Melbourne. If you're from Melbourne, you're playing there once every couple of weeks. Every 3rd or 4th gig, you're going to promote really heavily. The mindset around it, you don't want to have all these expectations that every gig's going to be fucking packed, because it's unrealistic unless you get lucky. But your mindset needs to be around, like, this is why I'm doing it to get my chops up.
And it should be enjoyable at the end of the day. Like, if it's a strain for you to do that, like, fuck, what's going to happen when you're expected to tour for fucking 6 months straight? So, you know, don't forget that it should be enjoyable. And then I guess to go inside with that, if you are running socials, and it doesn't have to be a stupid amount where you're fucking Instagramming for 5 hours each day to build this huge following because you think that's the be all and end all of how people judge you, is a big fucking number next to your Instagram account. If you're just constantly active, you know, doing a post every day on Insta, it just takes you fucking 15 minutes. And that's a long post.
Max.
Yeah, so 15 minutes out of your day, and you can be posting on Insta every day. You know, the sprinkle in a Facebook post, same, every day, maybe 5 a week. And then what you've got, though, is a situation where whenever you meet all these people at these shows, the band booker, the venue manager, all the other artists, they can then go, they'll like your page, you can connect with them on Facebook. You're now constantly adding to your socials, as opposed to thinking, all right, I've got to go in extreme and build it to a huge online following, and then I'm going to go play live. And like, you can do all at once. I think having that bit of perspective of stepping back and just understanding that it's gonna build over time, but it's baby steps in every direction. Baby steps of building your online following is a lot better than taking a huge leap of an unengaged audience. Same with playing live shows. Like, you're a lot better to take baby steps, play shows week in, week out, get your chops up, learn your skills, then go into your first show, be supporting a monster fucking artist when you have no idea what the fuck's happening, and then if something goes wrong, you're just going to completely shit yourself, and you're going to think you're out of your fucking depth, and you're just going to build in yourself.
Yeah. I think that's the worst thing that could happen in those scenarios where people spend absolutely all of their time on online stuff is if you have that scenario that you're talking about where they're sitting there waiting to be booked and one day they get booked and it's with some fucking decent artist and then you
they're
you
not
play
even-
the gig, you're nervous as fuck.
But
Like,
you're not even if you do get a good show like that, you're not even gonna know what the fuck to send the booking agent when they ask for it. They'll go, "Hey man, can I get your stage plot?" You go, "What's that?"
yeah.
You
There's
just
so
Google
much.
what is a
You'd
stage
think that,
plot.
Yeah.
but the emails I've received says people don't Google that. They send someone an email asking what a stage plot is.
That's silly. Don't do that.
Yeah. I think
I reckon the online thing is totally viable. I reckon that's totally a viable career path for a
Yep.
musician these days.
Sure
I
is.
reckon if you don't want to play live, you don't have to. You can
Correct.
be a complete online presence only.
Yep, you can.
With the intention of not playing live?
With the intention of not
Yeah.
playing live.
Yeah. So that's a mindset thing though.
Yeah.
Where the whole podcast we've been talking about people that are expecting to get
To eventually
Yeah, yeah,
play
yeah,
live.
yeah.
Yeah.
Live
But you're
musician.
definitely right. There is,
Yeah,
especially you
100%.
can make a living off music without playing a live show.
If you play your cards right with things like Patreon or, you know, the equivalent of whatever
Yeah.
that might be, you know, there's Bandcamp subscriptions. So similar sort of thing. You basically pay a subscription to that artist that you like. And on that Bandcamp webpage where they sell their music and their merch, they give their members exclusive access to certain things, video clips, songs that they don't release to the public, all that sort of stuff. So there's ways to go about being an online musician. Super viable. You can play a set from your living room, you know, that takes half an hour out of your day. You know, if you've got better gear, it might take a little bit longer. You eventually take steps to make everything look a lot nicer. It's the same thing with like Twitch gamers and stuff. When they first start, they might just be like some kid in their fucking bedroom and there's shit everywhere. But then as time goes on, they go, oh, this is actually working out here. I might actually get a backdrop or a green screen or something like that and project something up to my
You
background.
invest some time into it, some money into it. You upskill yourself
Yeah.
around it.
Well, I know when we started, we didn't make it. Let's just say that. But we started with a webcam.
Tell us what you're talking about.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I started streaming with
This
my
is
mates.
gaming
This
on
was
Twitch,
This was an excuse to drink beers with my friends. This was like,
but it was gaming on Twitch.
yeah, it was roughly. It was
Okay.
it was like we played things like Chuck Bass's fishing challenge and stuff like that. Like, and we would play games that people sent us. Like they would send us terrible games, and we would drink beers and try and figure out these games, like
Yeah.
Portal Runner and stuff. Like Google that; it's fucking hilarious. But and when you're talking about like you start like a step one where it's like you just do it.
Yep.
It's that toolbox fallacy. Did I already speak about this? I feel like I've already spoken
No,
about it.
not on the podcast.
But I'm intrigued.
The toolbox fallacy.
Sounds
okay.
sexual.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Phallus.
Phallus.
Start with a big
What is
old
a phallus?
winner.
Is a phallus a penis?
It's a shaft-like thing.
Oh. All right, carry on.
I liked where this is going. So, the toolbox fallacy, basically, it's like an explanation of the term like painters paint and writers write. You know what I mean? Where it's like there are people in this world that walk around telling other people that they are X. I'm a painter. I'm a writer. I'm a singer. I'm a musician.
Yep. I'm
I'm a carpenter. I'm a bank teller. If you don't do those things, then you're not that thing, right? So the toolbox fallacy is I need this before I can do this.
Right.
So I can't produce music until I have
A computer.
this powerful computer, like a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
specific tool.
Yeah.
Right?
I like it.
Well, a painter doesn't like they use what they've got because a painter paints and a writer uses whatever they've got. The writer writes. You don't
Yep.
need a typewriter. You don't need a computer to write. You do need just to write.
Yep.
So this whole thing of like when we started on Twitch, because this is just like my own personal experience, so I don't really have anything else to compare it to, is that we got a shit fucking webcam that I dug out of a box that I had for years. Our internet connection was not even close to fast enough to put out an even watchable image. Like you can go back to our like first stuff and it was like, it was so pixelated that you didn't even know what game we were playing.
Yeah.
It was fucked.
That's awesome.
And our audio was like one microphone like 4 meters away,
Yep.
picking up 3 people in a concrete room. It was horrible. But then someone started watching, and we were like, "Oh, that's cool!" Like someone watched.
Yep.
So I got a better microphone.
Yep.
And then I like got a better internet plan and yada 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 until eventually I never upgraded the lights though. All the way to like 2 years in, we were still using floodlights with grease paper wrapped around them
That's awesome.
That's
that would
nice.
catch fire randomly.
It's all part of it.
It's all part of it.
Part of the drama.
Yeah.
Every now and
Building the
again, the
suspense.
camera
Exactly.
quality would die because we'd have to turn the floodlights off because the grease paper had caught fire.
Oh my god.
But I like what you were touching on that with your little phallus there.
Yeah, it's you've got
Touching your little flowers.
That idea of a lot of people, because I think that ties into the imposter syndrome in the music industry a lot, where it's people there's this validation, and I think that comes from, my opinion is that because in music there isn't this, you never get that phone call that you do in another job where you send in your resume and then you go to an interview and you get the call, they go, "Fuck dude, you got the job." And you're like, "Damn man, this is sick. I got the fucking job." That really instantaneous gratification of, "Fuck dude, I did it. I got the job."
Plus
You
the
never
fact
get
that
in
there's
music.
not necessarily any feedback that you're getting.
Yeah.
You know, if you do a shit job at your workplace, your boss tells you.
Yep.
But you don't have a manager when you're first starting. So who's telling you? No one.
No one.
You're just doing it.
And usually people aren't going to tell you to your face. Like if you just played a
Yeah.
first show.
Good show, man.
Yeah,
You're like,
if you just
"Thanks."
played a first show, your
feeling
buddies aren't going
good.
to be like, "Hey, guess what, dude? You suck."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You're
You'd
really,
be, like,
really bad.
crushed.
unless you're my buddy, and then yeah.
But so I think that it does tie in with that because there is definitely, people wait. It's like they're waiting for something else to validate that they're an artist, they're a musician.
Because I say that because I knew, oh god, I can't remember his name. He was a dude at uni, and he was like telling people that he was a maker, like, you know, the new term maker.
Yeah,
And I was
God.
like fucking sick because
What's that?
like
they make things.
They just
there's
make
There's the
things.
makers movement, which is coming back. Yeah,
it's cool. I'm into it, dude. I love it.
would be.
Yeah, because I'm a maker.
I would have called you a hipster.
But
Faker?
I'm wearing a corduroy hat. You can't get cooler than this. I'm number 1 right now. David Bowie ain't got shit on me. I'll dig him up.
I love making so much. I'm wearing a Bunnings Warehouse hat.
Exactly. This is my number 1.
on.
So
Bunnings
he
is
was
my
talking
god.
about how he's a maker, and it was like, oh, he didn't actually make anything, but he was just walking around. I'm like, well, like, you know, what do you make? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna make, you know, I can't even remember what it was. It was like some little weird 3D
Yeah, yeah.
printed
Probably
thing.
something stupid.
And
Fuck that guy.
okay. And I was like, okay, I didn't really understand. Like, I didn't know about the toolbox fallacy before then. I was like, I thought it was odd that he's going around telling people he's a maker and
Yeah,
he
yeah,
literally
yeah.
doesn't make
Because
anything.
what he is full of shit.
Yeah, kind of. But he has every intention to
But
make
that means
this.
nothing.
But he's in his mind. He's like, I can't start
But see, that's-
until this.
And that is a wrong and, for lack of a better word, shitty mindset.
Yeah.
Because just go out and do it.
But
Yeah.
That's
If you're
step
a
one.
maker, you don't have to tell people you make.
Yeah.
If you're a painter, you don't have to tell people. People
No.
know this because you do it.
Yeah.
Your
Correct.
actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
If you have to tell someone what you do and it's not backed up by any action, you are full of shit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was that the whole fallacy boils down to a person does the thing that they are. So a
Yeah.
carpenter
You can be a shit talker.
builds houses.
Yeah.
And you are a carpenter because you build houses. You're not like a carpenter because
Yeah.
you don't build houses because you're a carpenter. It's not like the other way around. So that's step one I find in every
Surprisingly
industry.
good from you, Davey.
Yeah,
You've been on fire this week.
It's because I've been drinking more.
I've been drinking less, just for everyone listening, in case they were wondering.
No
I'm
one
doing
cares.
Sober October.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like a vegan around here right now, just walking around being like, "Oh yeah, you hungover? Well, I don't drink anymore." So
Do I have an aura around me? I feel like I have an
yeah,
aura.
kind of. It's like this aura of smug. Just walk around being like, "Oh, it's bad for your liver, you know."
Yeah, like LA is full of smog.
Yeah.
You're full of smug.
Smug, exactly.
Ah, nice. You know what I'm not full of, though? Alcohol and toxins.
Ah, yes.
toxins,
Yes. Delicious toxins.
Anyway, getting back to your reasonably good point.
Fuck
somehow.
yeah, dude. I got a
So
point.
the steps that you must take to do anything in any field.
And I guess, I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in there.
Fucking hell.
But on that, if someone builds a online following on Instagram and Facebook that says that they're an artist, but they're not playing live, are they an artist?
See, that's what I was about to start talking about. I think you were hitting on that.
Yeah, I just think that it depends on what you actually do. It always depends on what you actually do. Because you can say whatever you want.
Correct. Well, I mean, there are
So,
so many people who have life coach in their Instagram profile and they're full of shit. If you have musician in your Instagram and you're just building
And you're
an
just
online
playing
following,
guitars in your bedroom.
Yes.
Not recording them.
Yes.
And not playing anything, not releasing anything, then you're a hobbyist.
yes.
I don't
So
think
you're
you
not,
can.
yeah, you're not a musician. So it's like, what do you do? What do you spend most of your time doing? That is what you are. Like, I would call myself a designer, but really, I think I'm just a professional masturbator.
But,
Someone has to pay you to be a
but,
professional.
I'm paid.
but on that though, what about people that don't get paid for the things that they do and they genuinely work hard at what they do and they don't see anything for the first year or so?
But I think for the first
But they're
year
doing
or
it.
so, then I would argue that correct, they're not that. It's
But
a hobby.
What if that's all that they do and they don't have a job and they're on the dole?
But you're saying, no, because you're saying that validation comes with payment.
Well, yeah, now that's what I'm not sure of. As I said
Yeah.
that, now I'm wondering, what?
If they do it, if they are,
If they do it, then
making
they are
art,
it.
They are an
Yes,
artist.
yes.
Right?
You
And
can
that
be a
I agree.
part-time
online,
artist.
Yes, I definitely agree.
That can be
Yep.
live. That
Yep.
could be on the side of the road.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can be a part-time artist as well. You don't have to be a full-time artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still makes you an artist, but you're not a professional artist because you do
Well,
something
you can
else.
be a part-time professional.
Well, then if you're part time, isn't professional? I don't know what the
Professional just
No.
means someone pays you.
words.
No, professional means that you
get paid for it.
Yeah, you get paid for it.
Like a professional skateboarder gets paid to skateboard.
So
If you don't get paid for it, it's a hobby. Like I play baseball, but
You're not a baseballer.
No.
Yeah.
So I got paid while I Twitch streamed.
yes.
Yeah, so you were a
to drink
professional.
beer.
Yep.
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 You were a
You're a
professional
professional
Twitcher.
gamer.
I was a professional drinker. I didn't actually play the games while we streamed.
So everyone else did.
Yeah, Milky played the games, and me and Declan would speak. And
Yeah, but you were a
You're a
Twitch.
part of that.
You were a Twitcher. Then.
Yeah.
okay, I am a tweaker.
Tweaker. Fuck me.
This is
Professional.
interesting because I guess now what I'm thinking is what I'm in my head, just so everyone who wants to follow along with my thought process. So, say for instance, somebody is a tradie. Hypothetically, let's say that you're a carpenter. That's what you do for a job. You wake up at 6, you go, you're a carpenter, but your main interest is surfing. That's what you fucking love. As soon as you knock off, you go down to the ocean, you surf. Weekends come, you surf. Someone's asked you, like, what are you into? You'd be like, yeah, man, surfing. And your actions do back that up. Your
Yeah.
actions say that you enjoy
But
surfing.
Yeah.
do you spend more time
Yeah.
carpentering?
No,
Well, is that the
I have a thing here.
Go.
You're a surfer. You're just not a professional surfer.
Yes. So if someone
you can
goes,
still
what are
call
your
yourself a
interests?
surfer.
What are your interests? You like
I'm a
surfing.
surfer.
If someone goes, what do you do? You're a carpenter.
Yeah. What do you? Yeah. Well, it depends on what question they're asking. What do you? What do
And I
you?
guess
What do you
terminology-
do for work?
A living?
What do you
Yeah,
do for a
work
living? Then
is
I'm a
different to what
carpenter.
you're interested in.
But I'm a surfer at
So,
heart.
so now let's take that analogy and apply it to music. If someone, say, was working a full or part-time job
Mm-hmm.
and trying to be a musician or a musician after hours, so they love playing drums. As soon as they finish work, they get home, they play drums. Weekends, they're playing drums. Are they a musician or is
Yes.
drumming a hobby?
They're a musician. They're just not a professional.
Yep.
But
They're
see,
still
this,
a musician.
This is So here's the thing.
Still a
though.
musician.
Okay, you're playing music. Well, yeah, the fact that you're doing it,
Doing it means you are, yes.
Correct.
but you can't be like I am a. Oh, you can. You can be
You
like.
can't
a
say I'm a
musician.
full-time musician.
No.
Yes.
So when you say so, what do you do? You can't be like musician. Even in
can.
your heart of hearts,
You can.
you're like I am a musician.
You-
Unless
you can, but you're just not doing it as much as you could be.
because I feel
think-
like
I
what you
think.
do is I work at a call center.
Well, you're
Or-
kidding yourself, but
Yeah.
But who is it affecting? It's affecting you.
Yeah, that's.
But that's semantics. Who cares?
But I think that builds on this. That
It's a mindset thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
100%. 100%. I think there's nothing wrong with saying you're something. If you believe it, then that's okay. If you can build yourself up, you might be a shit talker at the same time, though. You know, and people are going to see through whatever it is. People think that they have this idea of themselves. People can see you for who you are pretty much 90% of the
Yeah.
time. Like with everyone. You're very no one's that guarded that they have this facade that they play up unless they're like a celebrity and someone paints them a certain way or whatever. But if you're just like you and me, people meet you and they go, that guy is that, and what they believe is true. I think that's the important thing as well, is that if I say I'm a musician and you see me as a musician, then I'm a musician, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
If you find out eventually that I'm not, then I'm not.
See, I'm lost. I'm so
Yeah.
lost.
We've gone down quite the rabbit hole here. Super interesting though.
Yeah, I don't know that it necessarily matters too much. It's more about just get out there and do it if you're interested in something. But I think the important part of the topic that we were discussing is, I think live music. If you're a musician, there's so much validity. There's so much to learn playing music live and getting your chops up and just going along for the ride for the however long you do it for, that you cannot learn when you don't do it.
Yep. And I think it's only going to help get out of that imposter syndrome, especially because, I mean, I can only imagine if you had a big online following and you'd never played live, like you would have this bit of imposter to say I'm a musician when you've never played live, but you've got a huge people who follow you for your music. So I think part of the way to alleviate that is obviously to play live, is getting out there. I think,
So
yeah,
you
you
guys have-
definitely got to find the best of both worlds. I think definitely online presence is crucial, but I think at the end of the day, it validates what you do on the stage.
Yeah. And I think if we do flip it and if we say you're only playing music live and you have no online socials at all, there is a chance that if you do it well, you can get hired because you can work really hard to get gigs and all this sort of stuff. You're just probably not going to get as much out of it as if you have the online stuff to back it up, because all of that stuff gets you is the ease of getting gigs. Because, you know, what else are you going to do? Fucking call every venue? Like that just isn't a thing.
Yeah, you're not
Even if you're
using what's
emailing,
available.
emailing is a crucial step, but it's hard without the socials. So you need both, but I think playing live to me teaches you so much.
Yep.
And I don't think that you can get as much out of being a musician if you haven't done it.
So you guys are falling very heavily on the side of play live.
Yep.
I think
I
I'm on
am.
the side of sit in your bedroom, your mum's house forever.
But
And
but
like, there's no right.
probably
or
because
wrong.
you haven't experienced it though.
Or
Yeah,
playing
I think
live.
I think that's just his opinion, which is fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
you sound like a cult. You're like, do it, play live. It's cool. Bro. Girls will like you.
because I mean,
I
I,
know what
guess
you
there'd
mean.
be like, because if we look at it in extremes, if you went down the path of just being in your mother's bedroom, for Davey's
Whoa,
example,
whoa. I'm not in my mother's bedroom.
Oh, sorry.
I'm in my mother's basement. There is a vast difference.
So, say you're building an online following from your mum's basement. There is a chance that you will get discovered and someone will pull you and you will then go on to play live shows. If you are just playing live without an online presence, is there a chance someone will find you and give you a big online
It's
following?
very difficult. It's very difficult. Yeah.
Nah, fuck the establishment. Go your own way.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't play into the venues. Just do it online. Online. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's start a revolution.
The online artist. If anyone out there listening wants to go down one of these paths, could you do it and let us know how it pans out?
Or if you've already done
If
this,
you've
let us
done
know.
it,
That's
yeah,
easier.
that's yeah.
I mean, I feel like Claria kind of did the internet way.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional. That was like accidental online.
Yeah.
Not accidental is not the right word. It was happenstance.
I don't know what that means.
Well,
You
it
have to
means
explain
that-
that one.
Hoobastank.
it was Hoobastank.
I don't know what that meant, so I'm going to take it as an offense.
But yeah, so for
No,
those who
it
don't
just
know,
means that it happened.
Raya, she
It wasn't
put
an
out-
accident.
She'd write rhymes. Started off as writing poetry, but then that turned into writing rhymes and writing lyrics about her life to as a way of escapism. She put up some videos on YouTube without not like she went and filmed a music clip. It was just her in a room on a chair spitting rhymes into a camera. They went big in 2014 and did huge amounts of views on YouTube. Without her playing a show, but it wasn't her intention to go, all right, everyone, I'm going to build a big YouTube audience and then
correct.
play. She was doing it from a very genuine place that's what she did
was an
to express
expression,
herself.
yeah.
And because it was so genuine and so pure, people catch on to that.
I
and
think
that's-
that comes back to exactly what I was saying about
Well,
people
why don't you
will
just honk
see
your own
you.
horn then?
People will see you as you are, and you can put out a facade, but people are going to see through it eventually.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think Stewie has done it.
Number one.
Nah, that's good.
Well, that comes down to it. She was a rapper, so rappers rap. She rapped.
Yeah.
She didn't need that
What a
shit.
sentence. That was awesome. She was a rapper. Rappers rap, rappers rap.
It's a song.
So now I'm a rapper, what you're saying. And this is recorded.
You can't rhyme rap with rap.
And this is recorded, and it's going online. I'm now a rapper.
Ipso facto.
It's a fact. You got paid for this.
Call me MC Bunnings.
That's good, actually.
Don't encourage him.
That's good. That's a good name.
No, I think you have nailed it on the head, Stu. Your people will see you for what you do.
You can talk
You can-
all the game in the world.
Yeah.
It's so easy to see through.
100, and I think
think
even
it
on the
doesn't
flip
take
side,
long.
like if you were to say to someone, I'm not a musician, I don't play drums, and I hate guitar. Like if you were to say that, and someone watches your actions,
It'd be very weird for me to
You'd
say.
be, yeah, but you'd be like,
Can you do that now,
okay.
please?
But you'd be like, okay, so he was either joking or something because he does play drums and he loves music.
People
like,
would find it.
because that's you. And so I guess if you're not playing drums, you're not doing this, and you're going around saying that, I think
Can you please explain that to people next time? Like next social club? Just be like,
Just out of nowhere.
I'm not really into music that much, so don't worry. I don't really know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I just click buttons and somehow it works out. I don't know. I don't know.
it's interesting. Well, that was good. So I think what are the takeaways from here, Stu?
That both an online presence as well as live performing is important. In my opinion, you can't learn the stuff that you learn when you're playing live, and doing a number of gigs regularly, seeing different venues, meeting different people that are involved in the gigs. You just can't learn that stuff anywhere else.
Yep.
It's impossible.
Yep, definitely.
Oh, call
All
me
right.
MC Drill Bit. I'm the sharp edge of the drill rap movement.
He's been thinking about that since he
Wow.
stopped talking.
Yes, he has.
Oh, the cogs turned for a while on that one.
Is that your name in corporate structure?
MC Drill Bit. It is now.
It's not tax related.
Well,
right.
on that note, this has been another podcast from Marshall Street. If you liked or even if you didn't like what we talked about, feel free to press like and give us a good rating wherever
Comment.
you listen to podcasts. Yep.
Comment
Got any
on YouTube.
questions for me, Stuart Davies, send them in. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the usual places. And we'll see you all next week for another episode of the Marshall Street Podcast.
Bye.